We've also entered a lockdown, which has changed our plans somewhat, I think, and so we're trying to decide what to do really. It's all a bit of a weird time.
So we are just about to cross into Spain. Fingers crossed it will go smoothly.
Hello guys, so we are still here in Portugal in the Algarve, but a national lockdown has just been announced. So we've really been trying to just figure out what our next step should be, what we should be doing, and there's not a lot of information about what all the different rules are everywhere, so it's kind of difficult to decide what to do. Last week we made some friends, and they've got family friends who know someone who has a timeshare here in Portugal, and they can't get out here because of the pandemic, so we are staying with them in this timeshare, and it's proper like Brits abroad style holiday, and it's all a bit eerie because it's pretty quiet because I think most of the hotel's empty. There's really just us here and maybe a couple of other people, but it's a really nice base because there's some bad weather due to come in.
Hello and welcome back to our channel. In this episode, we try and cross an international border during lockdown. If you're new here, we are Tom and Iz, and we are travelling around Europe in our self-converted camper van, La Bamba. We packed up everything in the UK after training to be science teachers and deciding that we weren't ready to settle down and do proper jobs just yet. After our brief experience of hotel life, we decided to head for the hills to plan our next steps. Those of you who know me, I'm doing my favourite activity, which is organising the van. Pottering around. Tom's delight. For days and days.
Yeah, so I wanted to get going and Isabel decided to reorganise every box in the van. So this is pretty much our life.
To be fair, I thought that's what we were doing today if we were putting up our shelves. But we can...
Well, you want to stay here another night?
I like it here.
Well, that's not what I asked. I said, do you want to stay here another night?
Yeah. Got all my macrame gear that I've never used in my life.
How much room would that free up if we didn't have it? Probably enough to put the board games in there, isn't it?
I'm not throwing this away.
Strange.
So much.
Before we agreed it's not being stored in communal places.
Too late for that.
At this point, lots was changing in Europe in terms of the restrictions that came with the second wave of COVID. We needed to get to Spain because my new passport had arrived there, and we were aware that Andalusia were closing its borders quickly.
We are wanting to enter into Spain, but we don't know how easy that will be because we've heard that the borders are completely shut there, and we especially want to visit Granada, which is where our really good friends Hetty and Sam live, but we've heard that the city is completely shut, so then they're checking entrance and exit into the city, asking for papers to justify why you're travelling. You stalled? Why?
I went in fourth instead of second.
Oh.
Why did you film that bit? That's getting cut.
So that day, we decided that it was best to move on and try and enter Spain as soon as possible. So we tried to drive further towards the Spanish border.
Like, the weather in Portugal has been really hot and really nice, pretty much non-stop. It's always been like, probably like mid-20s, which has been really good. We've been surfing and just playing on the beach and stuff. But this last week has really taken a turn. We're getting these big storms, and when it rains in Portugal, it is rare, but when it does rain, it rains pretty heavily, and we've been caught in the middle of a storm now. But we're actually loving it because we haven't really had any bad weather since we started our trip really, so we're getting some nice cosy vibes in the van, which is really nice.
We were making a beeline for a small town called Castello Marim. But on the way, I checked maps and discovered that we were really close to a waterfall, so we took a little detour to try and find them. And we also couldn't resist the oranges overhanging onto the road. Okay, so here we are at Pego do Inferno. We saw it on Google Images and like things to do in the Algarve, and it looked really beautiful, turquoise pool to swim in. But because we've had so much rain in the last few days, it's extremely brown, doesn't look very inviting, but it's still really cool to see, and it looks proper tropical here. Like there's a different smell in the air, and there's all the bamboo, and I can just imagine what it'd be like here in the summer. Packed with people, swimming. So yeah, it's really nice to come and visit here. And still nice.
We have just arrived at Castello Marim, which is right on the border with Spain, and we're going to stay here tonight. I think we're going to attempt to cross the border tomorrow. Alright, we'll catch you in the morning.
Hello, good morning. So we have woken up to discover the mould issue in our van is getting worse. So we have some black mould forming just behind me in the cab, above the cab, and it's like spreading over to our clothes bags, and I'm a bit worried it's going to get onto our clothes. And this morning I woke up in quite a bad mood because I discovered it was getting worse, and I just bought like really nice new clothes for my birthday, and I was just really grumpy. But Tom's being very calm and helpful, and I just went to the supermarket and got some vinegar, some gloves, and some bleach, which I then came in, stood on it, the bleach spilled onto the carpet, and I stained the carpet. I'll show you. Bit annoying, but hey ho. So yeah, today we were going to cross into Spain, but we think instead we're just going to sort this out because it's not really nice thinking like that all our clothes are getting mouldy, and there's just a few little odd DIY jobs that we'd quite like to get sorted.
So the way Isabel introduced that was very over the top, describing it as our mould issue, which is basically we have a couple of black dots on our toilet bag, and we've just kept an eye on it. So basically the hot, humid air from us sleeping is coming into the little over cab area, and this isn't really insulated like the rest of the van, so it's probably getting quite cold, and it's condensing in here, and it's causing mildew. So we're just going to give it a good clean. And we're also cooking on propane, and it's right above the kitchen area, so I think it's getting quite a lot of steam and stuff going up there, so I think you just need to be a lot more careful with airing out the van and stuff, but lesson learned.
I will show you the extent of the mould on the bags. So we've got black mould along here, black mould along here. My cereal and bread are in it, it's probably really healthy. So just got all the doors open to air it all out, and this is the car park we're in. Pretty busy, lots of lorries turned up in the night, so it wasn't the best night's sleep. So I just spilt the dehumidifier beads, that's really helpful. Sorting our van, we've got lots of stuff everywhere.
Why have we got this?
It's like, oh.
What is that? Just get rid of it.
Cocoa powder. Oh, it's chocolate pancakes.
No, you can't. No. You lost your privilege to chocolate pancakes by storing that. Like
Please.
That. No.
After we had finished our DIY jobs, we decided to take some time to explore the sweet town of Castello Marin. It turned out to be such a special place, with beautifully tiled buildings and an interesting castle. It's a little weird travelling in a pandemic. The castle was completely deserted, so we had fun imagining what it was like on a normal, busy summer's day. We like to think reenactments take place here, with big beer tents and music.
So we are just about to cross into Spain. Fingers crossed it will go smoothly. We're going to Huelva is our first stop to get a SIM card, and yeah, feeling pretty emotional about leaving Portugal. So beautiful here, but excited for the next chapter of our adventures.
Hopefully the border crossing's alright.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous about that.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't got no internet. It's crazy how much you rely on it.
Yeah.
It's like, find out where to go. Alright, should we go then?
Yeah. Estamos en España!
Hola, viva España! We made it to Spain and it was really easy to cross over. There was no police, no checks or anything, even though every municipality in this bottom region of Spain,
Andalusia,
has announced that they're closing all of the borders in between everywhere, but we've not seen anybody.
So we are heading to a place called Huelva to hopefully find a SIM card. Yeah, excited because we didn't really have much success learning Portuguese, gotta be honest. We were there for like 2 months, 2.5 months, and yeah, we didn't really break it. So we are excited to be back where we can communicate at least a little bit.
Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'd be so grateful if you could click on the subscribe button so you don't miss our future content. Catch us in next week's video where we find out the reality of the Spanish lockdown.
Blah, blah, blah.